Hello everybody, this is a Lamley unboxing, brand new Hot Wheels Premium. This is Fast and Furious, I guess you'll call this the H case, right? I believe so. This is the box that it was sent in. There's Fast and Furious in there according to Mattel. We're going to cut this open and have a look at the next mix of Fast and Furious Premium. I think there's two new castings. I think there's one. Well, let's just open it up and figure it out. This won't just be an unboxing because there's only 5 models in here, 2 of each. We will obviously showcase the models too. Get them open, do the whole 9. Let's have ourselves a look. There you go. New, repeat, new deco, new deco. Let's just get right to it. I guess we can start over here. Let's go with new casting. So we've shown this in the sneak peeks. So this won't be brand new to all of you who've been watching the Lamley channel, but here it is packaged, the Toyota FJ Cruiser. This is where I get to learn where these came from. This is from Fast X. I can't remember if I've seen this movie. That would be 10, right? But here it is. I assume since Mattel is sending this is imminent. This should be in stores soon. I know that everybody's after the Mercedes / Land Cruiser / Porsche set that has been out for a few weeks now. This will be the next mix, right? And this is the Toyota FJ Cruiser. So we can rip this open. I'll put it on the turntable. We have seen this, like I said, recently. This is Ron Wong designed this one. I think this has been developed for a while. A couple of things. I know Matchbox has done one. I've said this, that this is something that I could have seen Mattel doing for car culture, maybe a few years ago. The FJ's kind of lifespan seems to be over, but this style of FJ, but it must have been in Fast X. And as I always say, you give me a good casting with Fast and Furious, knowing that they've got a big, heavy budget for those, and I'm pretty happy to see it. So really nice in matte black. Obviously that's the look for it now, and we'll see this applied to many other premium applications. That was a nerdy sentence. Later on. Next model. This one has been interesting. There's been an interesting feedback from this. This is the 2018 Bentley Continental GT3. And this is the thing to look at. Race inspired. Oh, just race inspired or inspiré de la course. Is that French? So this must be an international release of this that they sent me. So if I understand, well, let's look at it. The Fate of the Furious. Now I don't even know which one that is, what movie that one is. But from what I understand, from what I've seen from people talking about it, is that this model, that was not the GT3, it was the actual, just the Bentley Continental, right? Now I don't know what year of the Bentley Continental, but so this is a race inspired, right? So this is inspired by the Fast and Furious livery. And we've seen Hot Wheels go a little loose with this kind of stuff before. We can talk about that as we go, but let's go ahead. I'm gonna open it up and get it on the turntable so that so we can all have a look at it. So, you know, we've seen Hot Wheels go loosey-goosey. They started with that retro series, right, where they did liveries of the Fast and Furious cars on vintage versions or old classic versions of the cars, like, you know, an old Skyline, that sort of thing. Then we've seen them obviously reverse decos. My guess is this race-inspired version, well, there's 2 ways to think about it. There's the more cynical way of saying, well, no, I won't say cynical. I'll say there's the common sense version is that based on the factory, what would it be? The Thailand factory, they did not have a premium version of the Bentley, or they couldn't get the tool over there to create a premium version of this car. But they did have the premium because they're doing it for car culture as well. We did this in the sneak peek video. This is and I haven't compared it to the basic version. I don't know if there's any updates other than the metal chassis, but they've done this one. So maybe they've, you know, converted this basic to a premium for not only car culture, but then they said, oh, we can apply it to Fast and Furious as well. So it's kind of this, I don't know if you want to say better than nothing, but, you know, I guess if you're really into Fast and Furious, and we'll talk about the next one that's very specifically Fast and Furious, you'd be like, no, I want the actual Bentley. I don't need the GT3, but this is the race inspired. So a little bit of creative license. So I wouldn't say that's my cynical version. I think it's just that's probably the tool they had access to and said, why not? We'll go ahead and do that. So that's the Bentley Continental GT3. Next one, Ford F-150 SVT Lightning. This is the third version. This will get the repeat complaints, and I get it. We had the first one which had these wheels on it, the mag style wheels, and then there was the one where they reversed, or not reversed, but they did different wheels on common, like, I guess, I don't know if you'd say the wrong wheels. Fast and the Furious is from the original. So I don't know if there's any difference here. I didn't pull out the other one because I don't think it's that significant to check it out. I'll just just show this one very quickly on the turntable, and knowing that it's pretty much, outside of maybe a subtle difference here and there, it's pretty much the exact same version of that casting. So the repeats we don't have to spend a lot of time on. But here is one, and we talked about this. Now I'm really excited about this one. But, well, for two reasons. This is the 1987 Chevy Caprice. And it is, I mentioned this because we saw this in the sneak peek video. This one is done, you know, I mentioned I like having castings. Furious 7, this one is from. I like having castings that are introduced in Fast and Furious and then can have a long lifespan afterwards. Sometimes they have the Fast and Furious decos, very specific decos. Other times they're just cars from the movies and they're in a very, you know, kind of a more factory style color or something that's maybe not specific to Fast and Furious, or at least to a Fast and Furious deco. And then we get to see all these versions later. And this one would be the exact same. That getting a Chevy Caprice is really cool, but it's a modified Caprice. If I was looking at pictures of the car from the movie, and it looked like they had cut the fenders a bit. There's some modifications to the windshield. There's a little spoiler added to it, and this one is specific to it. In fact, if you look at it on the turntable, I don't know if it really looked. You can see it in the angle, but it has a higher clearance in the front and lower in the back. You know, modified racing car. So how they run with this in the future with like car culture and things, which I hope they do. We'll see what they do in the decos. I could see it like done in almost like a vintage NASCAR kind of style or something. It'll be interesting to see where the future of this casting. I'm very happy to see it, and I'm really excited for it. And I love it, Fast and Furious or not. It's a really cool looking version of the Chevy Caprice. But we'll see how that goes with the future. That's what I'm more curious about, is where it goes from here. Lastly, nice to see this one continuing its very slow and tedious premium lifespan. It is the 1996 Nissan 180SX Type X, living its life to the fullest this year at least, because it was introduced as a basic several years ago. I still maintain that the basic debut of this casting is one of the best basic models just in general of the last like 15 years. I think it's so good in that maroon. The casting is great. The model is great. It was introduced in premium several years ago. I don't remember what the mix was, but it was, I don't remember what it's called, but there was some other very cool kind of 90s era cars in there. This one looked great in black with the gold 5-spoke rims. But I've been looking to see one with more full style rims, and this one definitely has it. Tokyo Drift. Don't know what character drove it. Don't know if it was one of the background cars. You can see in the artwork it's got the parking lot. I think, and there was a lot of scenes in parking lots, if I remember from that movie. And I know I'm not well educated on Fast and Furious, and I'm sorry, I'm just not gonna be that much. If I know it, I'll tell you, but you guys can always say it in the comments, and I'll definitely like those comments, because then I'll learn from those. But this thing looks awesome. I think we saw this in the sneak peek Atlanta video. Love it in this color. It's one that can be in Fast and Furious. It can be in anything else that we want it to be in, because it's just a nice, clean looking 180SX. Super Treasure Hunt, premium in Fast and Furious. Good time for this casting. And I think it looks fantastic. And then the SIL 80's coming. You know, just for this car in general, it's a good year. Should have brought out the SIL 80, but I didn't. I gotta send that back to Mattel too. I just filmed that, and so here we go. Anyway, there you go. The basics. This is a Fast and Furious mix, and I would say it's probably, if you're comparing it to the last mix, which I thought was great, of the with the Porsche and the Mercedes. I think that's probably the better mix, but we have one repeat. There were 2 repeats in that one repeat in this one. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good mix all in all. The 2 new castings, this one's fine, I think is my fine grade. This one is really cool. That gets my cool grade. Repeat is a repeat. I actually, you know, again, because I'm not as much into the Fast and Furiousness of it, I think the Bentley Continental is really cool. There's the Caprice, and I think the 180SX is the top model from this mix. You guys tell me what you think. There's your unboxing. There's your showcase. Thanks, everybody. Bye.